Hey everyone, this is episode 21 of the GamersCircle Show, and I'm your host, Andy Wood. And this is the show where I talk about comic books and gaming. For the comic books, I will attempt to pass along some comic book news that you may or may not know. I'm going to tell you about some of the comics I've been reading and what I think, and then I'm going to tell you about the new comics coming out new this week. Since I am also a gamer, I'm going to again pass along some gaming news that you may or may not know, and then I'm going to tell you what I've been playing. Guys, this week's show is going to be shorter. I don't know how much shorter, but this will be much shorter than last week's. I just haven't had that much time. I'm still trying to get in the swing of things. Plus, this past weekend, I had a pre-release for the latest Magic the Gathering set, so that kind of took away my time from this show. Additionally, I would like to give a shout-out to Lady Lex from Lady Lexy Gaming, her YouTube channel. She gave us a shout-out, so thank you very much. Hi, Lady Lex! And without further ado, the show. Something that was missing from the last show, something that I always try to give out to all you guys and gals, are free comic book codes. So they are returning, and I'm going to try to double up on all these shows so I can get caught up over the last couple of months. So, without further ado, comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. If you're new to the show, you're just returning the show, you should see a code or two. I'm going to try to do 2 codes for each shout out. And again, you grab these codes, you go to a certain link. I don't know if I'm pointing correctly. I can't even see myself recording. There'll be Marvel and DC links. The links or the code, there'll be an accompanying title and issue number, hopefully if I do this right. And you take that code, you go to the appropriate site, and you redeem it. You get the comic. It's a free comic. It's a digital comic, so you can read it on your Apple or your Android device, or you can even read it on your PC or your tablet, whatever platform. Anyways, it should work. Okay, trust me. I've done it a couple of times, and it's cool because you can be somewhere and on the go, and you downloaded the comic and go, oh God, I'm bored. I'm at this place, and oh yeah, I got a comic I can read. So it's pretty cool. It works out. And you know, the coolest thing about this, it's free. So you get a digital code, you get a comic, and it's free. We're all reading free comics. Well, you're reading a free comic, whoever redeemed the code. Okay? All right, folks, let's move on to some of that comic book news. In the previous show, I went into a lot of detail, rumors, and casting information about the upcoming big DC movie that's been pushed out that they're still calling the Man of Steel sequel, which is also called Superman Batman, and some people might be referring it to the Justice League prequel because of all the casting rumors. Be as it may, a couple of casting items have come up that are the real deal. Jesse Eisenberg, who you may know from The Social Network, who played Mark Zuckerberg on the origin of the Facebook. He was also in Zombieland. Has been cast as Lex Luthor, and this I think is interesting because his roles in pretty much every movie he's been has always been kind of a stuttering, kind of nervous little guy, and that's not bad. Don't get me wrong. So this is going to be one of those things to where we get to see him in a completely different aspect. I mean, in Zombieland, The Social Network, and also Adventureland, and he's been in some other stuff too. He was always like this, not a very powerful, outgoing persona. So I'm looking forward to it. I really hope this movie just blows everyone's opinions out of the water because DC really needs it because they're not doing so well on movies. I mean, there's been some okay movies. A couple of Batman movies under Nolan have been okay. But there's always some that haven't been so good. Another piece of interesting, good casting news is Jeremy Irons has been cast as Alfred. And if you don't know who that is, you can look him up. But he was like the voice of Scar on The Lion King. He was also the bad guy Simon from one of the Bruce Willis's Die Hard movies, Vengeance, I believe. And I think he fits the persona. He's got the accent that he doesn't have to fake. So, anyways, good information on that. Additionally, Constantine Pilot. It's always been rumored that Constantine was going to be adapted from comic book to either TV or movie. But a pilot has been greenlit, and they got a director. His name's Neil Marshall. He's done a lot of stuff, but most notably, he's been doing episodes for Michael Bay's Black Sail, which I believe is on Showtime. I may be wrong again. I need to do better research. And Black Sails is like all about pirates and arg. And good story. I saw the pilot of it, and it was very, very cool. I'm just not caught up with it. So there's some good comic book news for you. All right, here it is again. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. All right, once again, I'm going to try to stretch this out because I want to put a couple codes for a couple comics and try to get caught up in the backlog because I got a stack of comics that have got digital codes for you guys to have. And, you know, it's unfortunately I'm just reading them myself and passing along the codes from those comics, so it's the best I can do at this time. But anyways, you grab the code. There's going to be a comic book title associated with it. That way you know what you're getting. It's not like a grab bag. Grab bag. No, I think that'd be a real bad idea. Anyway, you grab the code. There's going to be a couple links down in the show notes here on my channel. And you go to the appropriate link. So if it's a Marvel title, you go to the Marvel link. If it's you guys are smart. You guys know how to do this. You grab the code, you redeem it, you download the comic, you read it as your leisure. And hey, you know what? What's really cool? As I stammer and stutter here, it's free. So you got a free comic, a free digital comic to read whenever you want, wherever you want, wherever you read your comics. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where I refer to it as Andy's Rack.
Nice rack.
I'm going to get better at this, hopefully, sometime. Anyways, I've only read since this last week, and again, I apologize if I'm behind. It's just been really busy. I've only read a couple comics, or actually more than a couple, but just a couple worth mentioning. It's Guardians of the Galaxy number 11 .now. This is like supposed to be the first issue where they have the Marvel's kind of pushing a little on this trial of Jean Grey. And for those that don't know, is Jean Grey was Phoenix, became Dark Phoenix. Or before that, she was even Marvel Girl. And then she died. She came back. She died again. And she has not risen from the grave. No, she has not. In a really awesome X-Men story, written by Brian Michael Bendis, he, all new X-Men, Beast of this timeline, went back in time and brought the original X-Men forward in time. I know it's a soap opera, but it's my soap opera. Because he thought it was the best way to get the X-Men on track for what Xavier envisioned all the way back then. And I don't know how that's going, but, excuse me. But what happened is the Gladiator from the Shire Empire, however you pronounce it, has caught wind that Jean Grey is back on Earth. Regardless of what version she is, he wants to snag her and put her on trial for what the original Phoenix did back in the 80s, which was devastated plenty of planets and all sorts of stuff. Massive chaos. And so, what does that have to do with Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, they find out about it, and because they want to protect Earth, or try to, they head to Earth, but they get there too late. So, Guardians of the Galaxy has been pretty darn good comic. It's one of those little hidden gems that if you're not aware of it, because it's not in the mainstream of Marvel, they're out in the middle of the universe, the galaxy, and they're doing their thing. But it's going to become much, much popular when the movie comes out. So it's got the same characters, totally different story. And again, this is kind of the bare bone lead-in to the trial of Jean Grey, which is on Guardians of the Galaxy and all new X-Men. So I read that. And one comic I look forward to every month, Superior Spider-Man. In the previous issue, he tangled with Venom, became Superior Venom, and then took on the Avengers. The Avengers got the symbiote out of Spider-Man, or separated it. And now the whole brouhaha in this issue, I keep wanting to say episode, in this issue, is there's a Hobgoblin and Green Goblin. And there's a Goblin War going on, which I never thought would happen because they're all bad guys. They all want to get rid of the good guys. And at the same time, Superior Spider-Man is at the Avengers Mansion, and they're kind of like weighing the pros and cons of whether to keep Spider-Man in as an Avenger. So does he stay as an Avenger? I don't know. You're going to have to read the comic. I'm not going to tell you everything. And that's what I've been reading this month. Or this week. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is once again. Comic book code, comic book code, comic book code. Once again, I'm going to try to stretch this out a little bit, get a little wordy, talk a little slower, which is very hard for me. This is where you're going to find a couple of comic book codes. I'm going to hopefully pace it nicely so you can pause the video, copy down the code. I wish there was an easy way you could copy from video to web, but I guess you can't. And if I put them in the show notes, people aren't even going to watch me. I want to try to be slightly entertaining versus going, oh, look, the new show, let's go copy the codes and paste. Thanks, Andy. And you'll never watch my show. Well, most of you will, but there's a couple of you. Yeah, I think there are a couple of you. Anyways, you should find a couple different codes according to the title, whether it's Marvel or DC. You'll go to the appropriate link down below. Hopefully I'm doing that correctly. And it allows you to redeem a comic. And then you can download the comic, and you get to read the comic. Oh, and the best part, it's free. A free comic. So, hope you guys enjoy that. And I guess I've stretched this out as far as I can. What are the new comics for February 5th, 2014? Batman Joker's Daughter #1. Who is the Joker's daughter? What horror lurks in the mind of this deranged lunatic? And why is there more to her than meets the eye? More than just a crazy person who stumbled across the Joker's face? More than just a woman with a mission? The Joker's daughter sees herself as a woman on a path of greed, dominance, and lordship over the Gotham underground. This special issue tells you the sordid tale in the life of one of DC's most popular new villains. Forever Evil #5. With everything to lose, Lex Luthor and his Injustice League raid the stronghold of the crime syndicate with consequences so devastating, the DC universe will never be the same. Loki, Agent of Asgard #1. Old God, new trickster, Kid Loki is all grown up, and the God of Mischief is stronger, smarter, sexier, and just plain sneakier than ever before. As Asgard's one-man secret service, he's ready to lie, cheat, steal, bluff, and snog his way through the twistiest, turniest, and most treacherous missions of all Mother can throw at him, starting with a heart-stopping heist on the Avengers Tower and the death of Thor. Miss Marvel #1, the legend has returned. Marvel Comics presents an all-new Miss Marvel. This groundbreaking heroine has become an international sensation. Kamala Khan is just an ordinary girl from New Jersey until she's suddenly empowered with extraordinary gifts. But who truly is the all-new Ms. Marvel? Teenager, Muslim, and human? Find out more when she takes form in the new Ms. Marvel. Alright folks, let's get into some gaming news. I only got a couple items. First up is Elder Scrolls Online, or what a lot of people refer to as ESO. Why am I mentioning this? It's still under NDA and people are in the beta and they can't be really showing anything. Well, I don't know if it was a purpose leak or just a real deal, but evidently the collector's edition for the game has been revealed. A lot of cool stuff, like when you buy a collector's edition, you get a lot of cool stuff. But one of the most exclusive things about it was they revealed the Imperial race. And the Imperial race will be available only to those that get this collector's edition. And what's so unique about it, it appears it gives you the ability to play any race under any faction. And I guess there's been some controversy about that. And it didn't seem so bad to me. It would be kind of cool, I guess. Anyways, Elder Scrolls Online supposedly goes live in about 2 months, so we'll just have to wait and see how this pans out. Next up is EverQuest's next landmark. Now, their NDA has just lifted, and they're currently in alpha, closed alpha. So you're going to start seeing a lot of people showing pictures of them building stuff. I guess there's no creatures in the game yet, but something unique about the game is each player will be able to build their own buildings, homes, whatever, and I don't know what else is going to go for it, but that's always been kind of a cool aspect because there's not a whole lot of games that you can actually build structures. I mean, there's been some in the past, and it was a cool concept, but it wasn't very well delivered. Anyways, this game is 2 months away from closed beta. So, there's some gaming news for you. So, what has Andy been playing? Someday I'm going to learn how to do this a little bit more professionally. Anyways, the gaming world for me has been not as broad as it was over the holidays, because I dipped into a lot of stuff. Thank you, Steam Sale. But I did finally get through a game that I loved and I hated. I loved it more than I hated. And of course I'm talking about Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So I finally finished the storyline, and it was an awesome, awesome story. It was a really good story, and that's why I recommend it. Whenever you can play a game that kind of pulls you in and makes you part of the story, I always think that's really cool. The game was graphically just awesome. It was kind of like, it was a game where you didn't even really have to follow the story if you didn't want it. And for those people that are completionists, which I'm not really one of, but there are some stuff I like to do, you still got tons of game to do because there's all sorts of stuff to do. And then again, there's the achievement at completionist, and I don't see you finishing this game ever because they even came out with some DLC that I didn't bother to get, and because I was just concentrated trying to finish the storyline and not blow a gasket because of a certain game mechanic. So anyway, since I have finished that, I have moved on to Lego Marvel Superheroes, which, I've seen people play. I've downloaded demos of different Lego games, and they looked cool, but not for a big kid like me. But being that this was Marvel Superheroes, I said, okay, let me try it. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. But playing this game, Lego Marvel Superheroes, takes my gaming mannerisms and turns it at 180, because normally you don't want to go through in an MMO, an RTS, or a first-person shooter, well, for the most part, just shooting, bashing everything. You don't, because usually you draw aggro when you don't want an MMO. And an RTS, you don't want to, wake up an AI that you're not ready for or something like that. But in this one, you mash everything. And that's weird. And I'm going to finish playing this and go to my next game, whatever that's going to be. I'm going to start mashing everything, and I'm going to hate it because it should not, the last, and so anyways, it's really fun. It's geared, of course, for a smaller, or maybe not a smaller, but a less sophisticated, I don't know. It's for the youngins, which I guess we're all youngins, but it's definitely family friendly, I guess is the best way to say it. And there's a lot of stuff to it because you can do races, which I don't think I'll do unless I'm forced to. And it's just hilarious to play. And my progress, I don't even think I've busted 9% yet. I don't even think I'm close to that. Anyways, that's what I've been gaming, just a couple of short games. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for this week. I hope everyone liked it. Again, I'm sorry it was so much shorter. There wasn't that much news or that much information. Again, I'm trying to get back on track. I sincerely apologize. Once again, for those of you that have been chiming in, whether it's on the Google Plus or on the YouTube channel, sending me tweets and emails, I really appreciate it. It just lets me know that people are actually watching the show. Some of the feedback is awesome. It's like, Andy, doing a great show. I love your voice, which is kind of weird because I think it sounds nasal. Anyways, long story short, thank you for the feedback. It's been awesome. And again, if you know anyone, family, friend, or foe, send them a link to the show if you think that they'd get a kick out of it. And for those of you that are just coming to the show, I supply links over here to the side to my previous shows. My Let's Play videos are also, there's links off to the side here. And down below, you'll find a big button for subscribing to my YouTube channel, along with another button or link to my Google Plus profile, which is a social network where I do all my social networking stuff, because I think it's one of the best out there. So again, I want to appreciate everyone for coming out and watching out, and not that you had to come out. Just thanks for watching the show. And something I forgot to do last one, because I'm out of practice from doing this. Don't forget, visit your local comic book store. Just pop in. Every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. It's always Christmas because there's new stuff. So I hope everyone has a great week. And again, thanks a lot.